Okay, a very warm welcome. If you are joining, class starts anytime from now. Okay, right. Yes, a warm welcome. If you are joining live for the first time or you've been part of this series of master classes for the past couple of weeks, thank you for joining. And today, the class continues, the master class continues. Okay, thank you for joining. So, today, the class continues, the master class continues. Okay, right. So, uh, master class continues, like I said. And why are we teaching about stock market, stocks? Number one, because it's part of the economy. The stock market is featured in every major news bulletin, and it's because of the role it plays in the economy, in any economy. And that's why you have almost all countries having the stock market. Right. You have the London Stock Exchange, as I've mentioned. You've got the New York Stock Exchange, and of course, the base, the case study, which I use for this series of masterclasses, is the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Every business, every major business, every big business, every organization, they have shares, they have shareholders. Many of us, sadly, we just know about the other side of the business, the consumption part of the business. There's nothing bad in it, you know, but we are being excluded. Many people have been excluded forever. Just before I came into this library, I got a drink from McDonald's opposite here, and that is a business. McDonald's is a business. They have shareholders, they have stockholders. Football clubs, they have stockholders, shareholders. Chelsea has shareholders. It may not be public, right? But they have Manchester United, Manchester City. They have shareholders. Many of us are just supporters of clubs. That's the only end that many people, that's the only end of the stick that we have been made to hold. So we are blazing the trail with this academy, with a series of master classes to let you know that the opportunities are there, that there's another side of the coin, and that is that shares exist. stocks exist. And to just make it clear, it's not having shares, buying shares, or investing in shares is not a get rich quick. Just like you can't start exercising your body today and hope to become a championship athlete. You cannot start exercising today and hope to have that stamina which you've always dreamt about or which you want to have. So it's the stock market, becoming a stockbroker, understanding stocks. It's not an overnight thing, but it is good. We are making this knowledge available through this academy so that you and I can know, as I've mentioned before, many of us, we just drink Coke. Many of us just support Chelsea. Many of us just support Tottenham. Many of us just support various clubs, do various things. But they are not only supporters, they have shareholders. Some organizations, some businesses, the shares are excluded. They are limited to just private individuals. But this academy, we are dealing with publicly listed companies, PLCs, companies that have come to the stock exchange. Well, let me limit it to Nigeria. Companies who have come to the stock exchange in Nigeria to say, look, we are making our shares available. And that is for everybody. But as mentioned earlier, a lot of us have been excluded. We don't know. For those you know, some just have some shares of particular companies. They just keep them there. So why that is good? So if you hold stocks of companies, that is good, whether it is First Bank, whether it is FTN Cocoa, whether it is Vitafoam or Square Motors, these are good. And just to mention again, I am a shareholder of more than 20 of the companies limited or listed on the Nigerian exchange. And I do business there every business day, every working day. So it is good. 2 years ago, I had no clue. I had clue, but I was just on the periphery. Probably have shares in one company and then just wait until they declare dividend. In fact, the shares I hold, the company never, they have never declared dividend for over a decade. I'm not going to mention their names, just for legal purposes. But that was because my knowledge was limited. Okay, so having shares of a company is really good. You become a part owner. You become a fractional owner. And these are assets in your hands. While it's not going to it's not going to make you rich overnight, except you hold controlling shares on a large volume of it. Just like having just £5 is not going to do anything for you, except maybe there's a difference between somebody who has £5 and somebody who has £10 and somebody who has £15. That's just the way it is with holding shares of a business. So shares of businesses that have come to the exchange, to the stock market, to the Nigerian exchange, to the Nigeria Stock Exchange, they are there for anybody to subscribe. Just earlier this week, I was listening to an interview featured Aliko Dangote saying in the next couple of months, is going to float the refinery and shares will be made available to the public. Probably you haven't heard about that, or many of us we've had more sport news than that. That is an opportunity waiting for you and me. Look at that. Dangote announcing news feature, news interview earlier in the week to say, look, in the next 3 or 4 months, he said that, or probably latest 5 months, he's not even saying by the end of this year, in the next couple of months, the his refinery is going to be floated publicly so that you and I, you're not just going to be buying the fuel, you have the opportunity to be a shareholder. This is one of the reasons for this academy, to help you, to make you know that, look, the stock market is there. Shares are there, stocks. You should not just be content with being a consumer. You can become a stockholder. You can become a stockholder. Now, that means you can invest. You can invest little money. Just tiny. You can start with just 10,000. It can get you some quantity. So it is good to be an investor. You become a part owner. It might be tiny, yeah, sure. Just like you have just one vote in deciding who becomes your senator or who becomes your House of Reps, but your voice is there. The same thing with being an investor, investing, understanding that this is available. So that is why we are talking about shares, that stocks, that you can become a part owner. Right. And the good thing is that it is available. Nigeria alone, over 200 companies are listed on the exchange, on the Nigeria Stock Exchange. And as I've mentioned, I'm so happy that I have stakes, I have shares in at least 20 of them. Okay. And I've moved things around this week. So it's very important that you understand that there's opportunity for you not just to be a consumer, not just to be a supporter of a football club, that you can be a shareholder. If anybody who has watched a live match here in the UK, you know that, you have the director's box. They are shareholders. Many of them there, the few of them there, you have the director's box. You have the chairman's box where he brings his friends, his family. He holds the controlling share, so that's why he can sit there. Many of the thousands who sit in the other parts of the stadium were just supporters. That's all the stakes they hold, their emotions only, their faithfulness, their loyalty. These are good. Don't get me wrong, these are good, but we must go beyond being excluded to becoming savvy. We must go beyond supporting with our emotions to putting our money where our mouth is, to becoming interested. As I've mentioned in previous masterclasses, when the news about the markets come on any news bulletin, do not turn away. Do not turn away and say, or flip the channel elsewhere. Interestingly, you're going to find people sharing all sorts of things on social media. You're not going to find many people sharing news about the stock market, how you becoming a shareholder, but you're going to find all sorts of things being exchanged. Those are good. Again, they are good. They are good if that is your interest. But beyond that, you hardly find people sharing, videos, masterclasses about how your lives can change, or how you can acquire skills like this to understand the market. So let me first say also that this week has been very exciting on the Nigeria Stock Exchange, as with every market, with every day, not just the Nigerian exchange. Even because of the Iran war, there has been a lot of movement in the market globally, in the London Stock Exchange, FTSE 100, the New York Stock Exchange, and back zeroing down on the Nigerian exchange have been, though that's nothing mainly to that, does not mean there is a Iraqi war, but normal, regular market fluctuations. A lot have happened everywhere in this past week. So why this stock knowledge is important, like I said, is to bring you in, to give opportunities for ordinary people to take advantage, to know what is going on in the economy. Many are excluded from this segment. So having the knowledge of the stock market gives you an edge. It gives you an edge. It opens you up to know what happens in the economy, in that sector, in the market. It gives you that knowledge. It gives you the opportunity to know, yes, how is the market doing? Is there any opportunity for me? So as I've mentioned also before, some people just have probably 100 units of GTB and then waiting for dividends day when they're going to declare profit at the end of either half year result or end of year result, and probably, hopefully, dividends will come in. Those are good companies. That is what companies are. That when you hold their stocks, when you are a shareholder, when it is end of the financial year, you partake in profit and losses. But we all hope that most times we just want to partake in the good fortune. Fine. That is why it is good to be a shareholder. That's why being a shareholder is good. At least you know that when the company is doing well, you're going to be a beneficiary. When they're not doing well as well, you can't run away from that. You're probably going to take some heat, or you're not going to get any dividend payment. So it's very, very important that you take advantage. Take advantage, but don't jump in and say, I'm going to invest money. No, take advantage. Let this series of master classes educate you. Let them give you the education, the foundation you need before you jump out there to say, I'm going to be investing X amount of money. I'm going to be investing my 5,000 naira or my 10,000 naira. No, don't just jump into the market. Equip yourself, empower yourself with this series of master classes. That is how you begin, with knowledge, with empowering yourself, getting empowered, and then you can say, okay, I want to go in there and take advantage of this situation. So lay the foundation, and that is why we're laying this foundation, that knowledge is the bedrock. Knowledge is the bedrock, that you need this knowledge to know that market fluctuate. You need this knowledge to know that every company, every organization that you see, they are not just providing a service, they are owned by shareholders. And as mentioned, I do not want people just remaining consumers. Many of us have been consumers for 30 years. We've never owned stocks of any company. We've never received any dividend. There are many people today, just like I was, for the past 25 years, I never received any dividend because I wasn't a shareholder in any company. Imagine if I didn't know this. I'm going to remain like that. Imagine in the past 30 years, actually, not a single dividend from any company, through no fault of theirs, because I did not own the shares of any company. And for many people, it's going to remain like this. I've been consuming Coke, I've been consuming various products, I've been patronizing McDonald's for years, never received 1 penny, 1 pence dividend. I've been sleeping for years, slept on Vitafoam, slept on different products, but for so this is the situation, this is the narrative of many ordinary people. They've been using that bank, you've been using Halifax, you've been using First Bank, you have your money there, but not a shareholder. Many of us have been supporting Chelsea, supporting Man City, not a shareholder. We are only investing our emotions. Oh no, they lost 3 points. Oh no, they're going down, they're going up. Many of us just have season tickets. No, wake up, smell the coffee. These clubs, they have shareholders. These businesses, this McDonald's, which I pop in to buy, it's got shares. So this is why I want people to be in the know. Organizations, businesses, they have shares. Let's not just remain as consumers. Financial year is on now, so you have opportunity between now and December. Just think about it that you only have shares in 2 companies between now and the end of the year. Like I said, the past 30 years, I never earned 1 penny dividend. In fact, they didn't know I existed, apart from patronizing them. Had account with First Bank and another bank. That's fine. They know, okay, he's an account holder, but nothing more. This guy is an account holder. That's all they knew. But today, it's a different story. Okay, so that is why we're bringing this knowledge about to even awaken those who are dormant shareholders. You can increase your stake. You don't have, for those who even have shares, you do not have to wait until the end of the financial year. For some other people who have shares, because they are limited, they are at the periphery of the knowledge. Some people don't even know how many shares do I have. They're just waiting. Sometimes I ask people, okay, when was your last dividend? They just don't have a clue. I just know the company, they pay dividends. Is because remember what I said a few weeks ago, that biblical verse is very, very relevant. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Or one translation says, my people exist my people merely exist for lack of knowledge. So these these master classes are designed to empower us. Just take myself as an example, as I've said, for 30 years, not one single dividend. And through no fault of Coca-Cola or through no fault of the companies in Nigeria or the companies in UK, they're not going to be banging on your door to say, come and invest in us. Sometimes when they're doing the initial public offer, you get that. But people are not going to be sharing this knowledge through WhatsApp. People don't share this sort of knowledge. They rather share some other nonsense. Good enough, fine, you can consume that. But when last did you hear people, when last did you receive people sharing that, okay, Fidelity Bank 2 years ago when they were raising additional fund, when they were doing the IPO, I wonder if people got that sort of sharing, when people were sharing that through the normal channels on social media. No. So that is why you have to wake up and smell the coffee and decide that this year I want to earn dividends. And you start by becoming knowledgeable. Like I said, many of us are dormant shareholders. Some people have shares of companies in Nigeria, they just wait. They don't know. They don't know when they pay dividend or when they pay the dividends. Fine. There is more businesses. Businesses, they have shareholders. Let's not just be consumers. Okay, if you're supporting any football club, find out. Like I said, I've watched Premiership matches. You see the director boxes. That means these people, these are the shareholders. Don't just remain a season ticket holder. It's not just picking on football supporters, but also I'm not just buying product from McDonald's. Let us go beyond that. And how to do that is without knowledge. Do not forget that biblical verse, my people merely exist for lack of knowledge. You can start with 5,000 naira. 5,000 naira will give you some quantity of shares which you can start with. It will put something in your hand. And do not forget, shares are liquid assets. So it might be tiny, but you are not worse off. Like I said, just imagine myself again, 30 years, not 1 naira dividend. Oh, right. It's really annoying, but through no fault of First Bank, through no fault of FCMB, through no fault of any organization, but through my own lack of knowledge. Because, like I said, many of us do not even know stockbrokers. It's not in our lineage. We know doctors, we know pharmacists, we know teachers, we know care workers. The limited amount of stockbrokers that exist, they don't talk to us in the church. They don't talk to us in the community. They have people that they service. If you don't knock, you don't get the answer. They don't even want to talk to you. So that is why we are bringing this knowledge to the community. That is the reason for these master classes, that you can become a shareholder. You can become a shareholder, just like you have one vote in an election in the democracy. You may be tiny, you can be the little guy, but you are not just like you pay tax. Your tax may not do anything, right? So when you are interested, you own stocks, if they're going to do anything, the company will notify you. Today I was just checking my emails again. One of the companies in the US, which I have a tiny investment, they just notified me that AGM is coming. Meanwhile, so that I can give maybe standing instruction on how to vote. Last year, they didn't know I exist. They didn't even know my name. Probably I've only invested just $5. So it is important that we change our narrative. That is the purpose of this series of master classes. Change your narrative. I can't say it enough. 35 years or even 40 years, I never received one dividend. Through no fault of the company, I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't even know of any stockbroker. And for many families, for many adults, it is going to remain like that. Whereas we patronize product, we have account with First Bank, we have account with Access Banks, we have account with various banks, but not shareholders, just account holders. Do not forget, every company have shares, they have shareholders. Whether you go and watch Watford, or you go and watch Wolverhampton, or you go and watch Tottenham Hotspurs, they are businesses. They have shareholders. Don't be proud to be a loyal supporter. It does not put money in your pocket. At the end of the financial year, they might tell you they're buying players, they're doing this, but probably you're not going to receive any dividends. I'm happy I belong to my one of the banks I have account with is Nationwide and very, very good. Even last year, it was just £100 to say, thank you, you are members. Our members are shareholders. So, by the way, there's an unpaid advert for Nationwide. In the past 2 years, they have shared profit because they count members as shareholders. That's the sort of bank I want to stay with. But many people are just account holders. The bank does not notify you of any profits. And like I said, that is why these series of master classes are coming, so that we can change our narrative, so that 1 year from now, even if it is just 50,000 naira you have invested you are not going to be worse off. As I've mentioned, I have shares in at least 20 companies listed on the Nigeria Exchange. I do transactions every working day. I am not waiting until the end of the financial year alone before I receive any dividend that they want to that they distribute to shareholders. And if you're just joining, I've mentioned before, earlier this week, I saw an interview that Aliko Dangote granted that in the next few months is going to be listing his refinery on the stock exchange for members of the public to become shareholders. You must get ready. Even if it is 10,000 naira you are going to get, that there's a sort of ownership that, that you'll be able to buy. I don't know what the price is going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be in the news to say, look, I'm going to give opportunity so that people will not just be consumers of my product, but they can become shareholders. That is how it begins. Like I said, I'm going to use myself as case study again. Imagine myself for the past 40 years, not one single dividend. And that is why that biblical verse is very relevant, that my people are destroyed. My people merely exist for lack of knowledge. Okay, if you have shares of any company in Nigeria, find out the last dividends. Find out the last time they paid dividend. You can increase your stake. You can increase your stake, whereby as you increase your stake, you're probably going to be able to earn more. So it's important that we change our narrative. It's really to our own advantage that we change our narrative. And that is why the reason for this masterclass is that people's narratives can be changed. People's narratives can change. Remember, don't forget that businesses, they are owned by people. They are owned by people. These people who own them are shareholders. And many times they make these opportunities available for anybody because they are raising money. Okay. So here is a story which is in Daily Express of Wednesday. 5-star sent Trustpilot shares rocketing. So because shares, stocks, they are assets and they can become liabilities as well, depending on who you are and depending on your knowledge. But the starting point is to be ready to say, look, I want a piece of the action. Like I said, be ready for Dangote when he lists his refinery. He said in the next 3 or 4 months. He didn't even say by the end of the year. He said in the next 3, 4, or 5 months, this refinery will be floated. Right, so this is the reason why this is being said. And also remember, you can contact a stockbroker right there in Lagos or Nigeria to say, find a stockbroker and be ready and open an account. That's the starting point, so that you have a stockbroker. I have 2 stockbrokers by myself, apart from be able to do things by myself. I have two stockbrokers. When the offer is listed, I'll be contacted. Of course, I have the added advantage of also knowing through because of what I do to know. So be in the know. Don't just be satisfied with having account with access banks or with access banks. Yes, don't just be satisfied at home. Yes, I have account with Guarantee Trust Bank. You can become a shareholder. And like I said, you're not going to be worse off. I'm not saying invest any huge amount. Just 5,000, get a stockbroker. 10,000 can give you a starting point. 10,000 naira can give you sufficient stock to start with. And by the end of the financial year, if they make profit, you're going to be a partaker of it. If they do not, they will let you know. But they will let you know. Just imagine that. But as an ordinary account holder, they have no obligation to you. If anything, if they're doing AGM, you are not contacted. You are just an account holder. That's the way it is. So businesses and Nigeria Stock Exchange is been doing well. While nobody is guaranteeing you any results, because market by their nature, they go up and down. Sometimes in the morning, the price of a stock is this. 1 hour later, it has changed. You can get wiped out. Your investment can go, which is why you need the knowledge, which is why you need to be savvy, which is why your stockbroker will probably guide you. But if you have never owned a stock in your life, make it part of your financial goals for next quarter that I'm going to be a shareholder in at least one organization among over 200 companies listed on the Nigeria Exchange. If you live here right here in the UK, make sure also that you say, look, I want to you don't even have, because like I said, I am using the Nigeria Exchange as my case study because it is doing well. As we've seen this week, President Tinubu has been here. British businesses, they are eager. They have signed deals to go to Nigeria to do so because the opportunities are there. And the opportunity that you and I can take with 5,000 naira, with just 10,000 naira, is by becoming shareholders. Don't just be an account holder without your bank. You can buy the shares in the secondary market. Okay, that is a starting point. That is a starting point. Write this down. I just want you to answer this: that in the last 10 years, how many dividends did you earn? Just supply the answer to yourself. In the last 5 years, I want you to write that question down and I want you to answer it privately. You're not supplying the answer to anybody, but just for your consumption. In the past, in fact, you can say in 2025 on 2024, how many times did I earn dividend? For me, it was 0. No, last year I did have some, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the past 20 years, the past 30 years before 2025, not 1 naira dividend. And like I said, for many people, that story will probably continue. That story will probably continue. And for many years, I've had account with First Bank. It's not their fault. They don't contact you, get a shares, become a shareholder, it's not their fault at all. So that is why we are bringing this to your doorstep so that you can take advantage. You can start small. You can be interested. And that's why I say when the news about market, every major news bulletin, just like you hear sport news, you're going to have business news. Be interested. Be interested so that you develop your knowledge, you gain knowledge. Market, as we've seen this period of the Iran war going on, you've probably been seeing on the major news. Every time they're saying the implication for the market. the stocks are going up, they're coming down. They're going up, they're coming down. These things happen. They're not even saying how they affect sports, but they're saying, oh, the market have been affected. So it is important that you and I make the effort to become shareholders, to become not just spectators, not just investor emotions, not just be consumers only, right? Don't just remain a consumer. Don't just be using iPhone or Samsung. They have shareholders. You can start very, very small. You can start very, very small. But remember, I am limiting this to Nigeria Stock Exchange. That is our case study because it is thriving, it is doing well. Get a stockbroker, open an account, have 5,000, which you're dedicating to say, I want to own a couple of shares. I want to tell the stockbroker, I need shares. I want to become a shareholder. I want to get into this. Whatever organizations, that is up to you. But on Monday, the market will open. But be interested, or like I said, giving you the heads up, Alhaji Aliko Dangote announced himself that in the next couple of months, his refinery will be floated. And he said, I want to give opportunity to members of the public to become shareholders. Get your 20,000 naira ready. Get your 15,000 naira ready. Do not let this opportunity come and go by. Be ready with your 20,000 naira so that when Dangote refinery comes to the market, you will be ready. But also get a stockbroker to say, I want to open an account so that you are ready. So that you are ready when it goes live. You will be there. Whether it can buy you whatever 10,000 naira can buy you, fine. But you will not be worse off. Like I said, write this question down and answer that to say, in the past 15 years, how much dividend did I earn? It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be it's just something to think about. And like I said, if we do not bring this knowledge across, we are going to remain outside. We're going to remain consumers. We're going to remain consumers. Don't remain a consumer. I don't want people, I want people's narrative to change. Don't just be a supporter of that football club. Find out they are in the market. Manchester United is on the exchange. It's a publicly quoted company. They declare profit, right? So over 200 companies in Nigeria. And like I said, I am an investor in over 20 of them. And while dividends can come from these 20 organizations, as a savvy contemporary stockbroker, I also do transactions Monday to Friday. When it's time, I take losses, I take the wins. Also remember, owning stocks is not a get rich quick, but you have a starting point to be a shareholder. So the purpose, the primary aim is that you don't want to remain a consumer. And because the stock market is a vibrant sector, it's a very vibrant sector of any economy. Watch out for the rest of the news today, even though it's weekend. They're probably going to tell you business news, how stocks have performed during the week. So be there, be ready, not just for Dangote when the refinery comes out. Get get a stockbroker. There'll be a time, a masterclass or a boot camp where I show you how you can open an account, a brokerage account on your phone, and you start out with just 5,000 or just 10,000 naira. That's how to begin. 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, it can get your feet in the door. It can give you some shares which you start. When the company declares at the end of the financial year, they're going to contact you because you're going to be on the register of shareholders. Like I said, for over 40 years, First Bank did not know I exist. Even though I have account with them for about 20 years now, that was it. When they're doing the AGM, nobody gets in touch. My name is not on the shareholders register. That is where you want your name to be, shareholders register, because when you're a shareholder, they take you, they know you are a part owner. It might be just a bit owner, just like you have a voice with one vote in any country. The country knows, okay, all right, yes, this one vote, you have a voice. The same thing when you become a shareholder, your name is written down on the shareholders register. So when there's an AGM or a decision, they're going to contact you every year to say, this is what we've done. This is how much you've made. This is how much we have lost. Thankfully, my name is also on Access Corps. Many years back, like I said, for over 40 years, they didn't know I exist because I was just account holder. In fact, I don't have accounts there, but I have shares with them. I'm a shareholder there. So that is the way it is. I want us to change our narratives, not to be consumers only. Don't just be a consumer of McDonald's. Find out, even if you're not able to start immediately, make inquiries. Next quarter, make that part of your financial goals. I want to be a shareholder in two companies, whether it's First Bank, whether it is any company that is publicly listed. Speak to your stockbroker to say, I want to be a shareholder, even in one company. This is my 5,000 naira I'm opening an account. You're not going to be worse off, you're going to be better off. So you can start there. So I want you to take this very, very seriously. It is for our good. Like I said, many families, many of us have been excluded. You don't hear of anybody doing seminars on stockbroking. You don't hear of people sharing WhatsApp messages with you on stockbroking, on owning shares. This is a new era. This is a new beginning. So this is what we're doing with this series of master classes, bringing, democratizing the ability, the power to be on the stock exchange, be empowered with knowledge, and then to start to build, not to just be consumers, not to be merely consumers. Like I said, also write down, what do I want to earn dividend in 2025? It's up to you. You can put that question down. Do I want to be able in a position to earn any dividend in 2026? And the starting point is, like I said, with just 5,000 naira, you can get off. Look for a stockbroker. Tell them, I want to open an account with you. I'm interested in investing in shares. This is 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira. I want to be a client. I'm interested. Okay. We find institutional investors making, investing in the Nigerian exchange. Don't be there and not be a partaker. Don't just be there and not have a piece of the action. It's important. Look at what the multiplier effect of not owning shares has been for you in the past 20 years. Like I said, for me, prior to 2025, not one naira dividend, not a single naira. It's really awful. It's embarrassing, but that's just the reality. Because this knowledge, nobody was holding this sort of masterclass. Nobody was making this sort of teaching. Stockbrokers, maybe I knew just two. And that is the story of many of us. That's the story of many of us. Some just have. So, whatever it is, we can change that narration. We can change that narrative. Don't just listen to sport news. Don't just listen to sport news. Don't just be a consumer of products. Don't just be just patronizing that business. Of course, you're not going to be able to invest in every business, but be in the know that every business that is on the exchange, as on the Nigeria Stock Exchange, is an opportunity for you. And that's why I say you can start small. You can start at the base level, get a stockbroker. This is 5,000 naira. This is 10,000 naira. I want to start my investment journey. That is how to go about it. I want to start my investment journey with this 5,000 naira. And then your stockbroker will be able to, if you have idea of which company to be, they will tell you. If not, when you open that account, just say, I am waiting for when Dangote Refinery is going to be listed. The man has announced it himself that in the next few months, 3, 4, 5, he didn't even say by the end of it, he said in the next 3 or 4 months, my refinery is going to be floated so that people, he said it, so that I'm giving opportunity to people. So get that your 20,000 naira ready, get that your 10,000 naira ready, get a stockbroker who you can open an account with. Like I said, there'll be a time when I'll be holding a boot camp where I can show you how to have a brokerage account on your phone, through your phone. I have my own brokerage account, even though I have two stockbrokers, traditional stockbrokers. But like I said, every working day, I do transactions on the Nigerian exchange. Occasionally, if I have the time or if I look at it, because I have shares in other American companies as well, but I hardly look at them. But as I've mentioned earlier in this broadcast, AGM of one of the companies is coming. They've sent me an email. Just think about that. By investing just a tiny amount, the 2 years ago, last year, they didn't know I existed on the face of this earth. But now it's different. And as I've mentioned earlier, I want you to be serious. Write it down. In the past 10 years, did I earn a dividend? If you do not acquire this knowledge or take action, don't let 2026 even pass by. In fact, I'm saying don't miss the opportunity that Dangote Refinery will throw our way in the next 5 months. The owner has announced it, so don't you dare miss the opportunity. 2 years ago, I was in Lagos when Fidelity Bank was raising money again. That was the first time I became a shareholder, but it was very passive. Okay, I don't have account to them, but I'm a shareholder. Today I get in, they've declared dividends and made payments to me. But like I said, proud to them, for 40 years, not one naira dividend. They didn't know I exist. And I'm sure for many of us, it is like that. So I want us to change our narrative that this year, 2026, in fact, next quarter, which starts in less than 2 weeks, next quarter, make that part of your financial goals. Make sure next week or latest by next quarter, 1st of April, you have contacted a stockbroker. The time of a boot camp, I'll let you know through the various channels where on a single day on a boot camp, of course, that is going to be chargeable, where with your phone, I'm going to show you, you open a brokerage account and you can deal in shares. Many of you have seen some of my videos where I am doing shares. The day I'm holding this masterclass on a Thursday, I can do live transaction. I can log into Nigeria Stock Exchange and then, make my transactions. Or sometimes maybe in another broadcast, if it's a weekday, I can log into my account on the New York Stock Exchange, do some things with some of the accounts, with some of the companies I have there. So I want people, I want you, don't let your story remain the same. You must be ambitious to say, this year I want to earn dividends. And remember, if you're just a consumer of McDonald's, if you're just supporting Chelsea, they love you for it. Many people have been supporters of Manchester City for the past 10 years. They love you. You are not a shareholder. They love you. Just remain like that. Many people have accounts with various banks, GTB, FCMB, First City Merchant Bank, or Fidelity. If you're not a shareholder, they love you. They don't hate you. They don't contact you. But make sure, I want you to be a partaker and earn dividends. And you earn dividends by becoming a shareholder. And like I said, you can start your investment journey with just 5,000. I just imagine, let's just say for the past 10 years, you've invested just 10,000 naira holding shares of First Bank. Every year, probably they haven't paid dividends, but just imagine that since 2016, you had stocks in either First Bank or GTB. Just imagine, it might be 100 naira a year that they pay you dividend, but you are not worse off by any dividend of 100 naira. Like if you are like me, never earn any dividends before 2025, So I do not want people's story to remain like this. We must change. That is why we are blazing the trail, opening the door for people, and also giving you the empowerment to become shareholders, not just supporters. Don't be, if you hold season ticket of any club, make sure next season you want to be a shareholder. You can buy shares of Chelsea, maybe £50. That's enough. But like I said, my concentration is on the Nigerian exchange. Don't just be a consumer. If you're sleeping on Vitafoam, be interested in being a shareholder, right? If you're using PZ products, get your 20,000 ready. Your stockbroker can help you get shares in some. It's not going to turn to make you fantastically rich overnight, like I said, depending on what you invest, but limit your investment. I'll be talking about this more during a boot camp, but wait, make sure you do not miss out when Dangote refinery is listed. Remember, Alhaji Dangote has announced it himself that he's going to float it. Be ready, be there, so that when this is floated, whenever it is, in the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, you'll be ready. I'll talk more of this in subsequent master classes. I'm not sure whether it's Thursday or Saturday again. I'm going to have another live session, but it's important that you and I, that we don't remain consumers only. Make it that in the next quarter, we start in April, I want you to be so that by the end of the second quarter of this year, even if it is 5,000 worth of shares, you will have invested in 1 or 2 companies on the Nigeria Stock Exchange. Remember, the Nigeria Stock Exchange has over 200 companies. How about being a shareholder in just one? You can do this with 5,000 naira. You can do this with 10,000 naira. It's really, really up to you. And thank you so much for watching, for taking part. I hope to see you next week. I'll let you know when next, whether Thursday or Saturday. But thank you so much. You can listen to this again. Remember your goal that for this year, for next quarter, you want to have own shares. For this financial year, you want to be able to say by December, when companies will have declared their financial results, you have something to show as dividends. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you and hope to see you next time.